Shed, why don't you go first, man? Who do you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about someone who's not quite on people's radar, but will be Roman Wilson, wide receiver out of Michigan. Like this guy broke out his senior year at Michigan in a run-heavy offense. Because remember, Michigan runs the ball a lot. And here's the thing: is that he took the Senior Bowl by surprise by his speed, by his route running, and his body control. And everybody was really impressed. And due to this, his Senior Bowl performance, some have even said he cemented himself into a top 75 draft status so far. He accounted for 50% of the team's receiving touchdowns last year. The guy just knows how to get into the end zone. His safety blanket, he was a safety blanket for JJ McCarthy. He's Debo Samuel-ish with the physique, routes between the numbers. He runs a sub 4.40, so he'll be one of the fastest wide receivers in this draft. And his stock is already slowly upticking. And I know that after the combine, even though we just talked about that it won't mean much, but I bet you after the combine, you see his draft stock soar just because of how much he runs and just his technician between the lines. So I see this guy as someone being a wide receiver that can make an impact in the NFL.
He made an impact in college, won a national championship.
He did.
Olu, who do you have, man?
Yeah, I have Xavier Worthy. So Xavier Worthy is a speedster. Like
Yep.
on the smaller side, he's 6'1", 172 pounds. Somebody, Stephen Smith described him as a taller Tank Dell. I don't quite agree with that. I don't think he's a Tank because I watch him play and he doesn't give me Tank Dell. Tank Dell is electric. He gives me a taller Addison. Think of Jordan Addison.
Interesting. That's a good comp.
That's a great comp.
Yeah, that's exactly when I watch him play. I'm like, bro, that is Jordan Addison, like to the T. So, but here's what's scary in the fantasy draft, right? So he might be slated to go late first, late first to mid second. But here's what might change the equation: his landing spot. If he lands in
KC
or Buffalo Bills, oh sorry guys, I'm taking him top 5. Like,
oh wow,
he's like, yeah. Can you imagine him landing KC?
No, he could be good. He could be good there.
He's gonna be he's literally gonna be the fastest player in the combine. He's fast. He's electric. He can run routes. He can do everything. And here's one way. I mean, like we're talking about, what do you look at when you evaluate players? Any player that has a breakout year in college in his freshman year, that means pay attention. And guess how old he is? He's only 20 years old. So
Yeah,
that means he's gonna get better. So he's a player of note. He's a speed. So I just think the biggest, like I said, the biggest defining factor would be his landing spot. And just to highlight some things, one of his weaknesses is saying, he suffers, what's it called? It's not, he will have a better feel for sitting down in zones. It's not, he has an issue with zones. He's better with man, but you can always learn that. He's 20 years old. So the sky is the limit for this guy. And I think, obviously, like most players, especially him, a biggest impact would be where he would land. If he lands in the right offense, even if he lands with the Chargers, even that is like, it would be scary. So I'm interested to see where he would land. And just
you bring up an interesting comp with Jordan Addison, because Jordan Addison was a guy that I wasn't big on coming in because of his size. But obviously, I think size it's not as big a factor as it used to be. But Xavier Worthy, what's interesting, the landing spots, you brought up a good point. I think this is good for the listeners. When evaluating these college guys, usually the best prospects break out as a sophomore and then dominate as a junior. Xavier Worthy is a little bit special in that case, where he was productive even as a freshman. But most of the model is you want to see them break out as a junior, and then, break out as a sophomore, and then dominate as a junior. That's typically what I want to look for these guys, because most freshmen don't get the play time. But Xavier Worthy had 981 yards as a freshman.
Yes.
That's amazing. So,
The
anyways,
only other player in this class that did that was Brock Bowers, and we know what kind of player is.
yeah, and I'm gonna talk about Brock in a minute, but why don't we
Oh,
go to the next one? Yeah, I'm gonna hit Brock. I'm gonna talk about Brock today. But Will, why don't you go, man?
Yeah, I'll go quick on this one. So this is a receiver who is definitely more talked about. He's got more hype than Xavier Worthy or Roman Wilson, and that's Troy Franklin out of Oregon. So he's a guy, if you're in a super flex rookie draft, he could be available in the 108 to 110 range, kind of the back half of the first round. But I would say the same thing about landing spot, depending on who drafts him. He legitimately has the chance to produce on the level of a Marvin Harrison or a Malik Neighbors in his rookie year in the NFL. And I'll tell you why. He's 6'3", 187. A good comp for him is he is a taller Devontae Smith. He's got elite speed, elite separation. He is a precise route runner, and he just produces 81 receptions, almost 1,400 yards. He averaged 17 yards a catch and 14 touchdowns with Oregon in last year. So I think he's a guy that just gets open. Okay. He's got the speed, he's got the route running, and he's got the hands. So if he ends up with a quarterback that can just deliver it to him, he could be the wide receiver one on the whatever team he lands on and produce on the level of Neighbors and Harrison as a rookie. So he could be a steal at the back end of the first round of a rookie draft.
I have a question for you with that regards.
Yeah.
Is that who you're trying to pick up with my 109?
I'm not getting your 109. We've already tried this 12 times.
I'm gonna get my Franklin anyway.
A lot of experts have Xavier. I mean, not Xavier Worthy, but Troy Franklin as the wide receiver 4 in this class.
Wow,
yeah, he's up there.
But
yeah, he's up there.
The comp that I've heard for him, because I've actually not watched this tape. I don't know why, because I don't know why I've never watched this tape, because but his comp I heard was Michael Pittman.
But he's small. Pittman's a physical, 215-pound guy. Franklin's only 187. So he's skinny. He's very skinny for being 6'3".
A lot of these guys these days are skinny. I just want to talk lastly. The rookie I want to talk about is tight end Brock Bowers from the University of Georgia. I mean, I've watched this guy since he stepped foot on campus.
Me too.
As a UGA alumni, the illustrious University of Georgia. He's from Napa, California. But I mean, the guy's a 2-time national champ, but also a 2-time John Mackey Award winner, which is the most outstanding tight end in college football. He broke out as soon as he stepped foot on the field as a tight end.
Yes.
I think what's impressive about him, over the course of 3 years, 175 catches, 2,537 yards, 26 touchdowns. Here's the stat that's most interesting about him. His junior year, he only played in 10 games because of injury. 56 catches on 57 targets. 57 catches on 57 targets. 98.3% catch rate. His target shares, he was 20% his freshman year. 16.1 his sophomore, and then 12.5 his junior. He's an excellent receiver. He's a tight end that would line up split end, even out wide. They even gave this man the ball in the backfield on reverses. I saw the man take a reverse and end around 75 yards.
Crazy.
Yes.
What tight end does that? Okay. He's the highest rated tight end to come out since Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has had next to no impact on the field. Brock Bowers is not that. I'm always hesitant to draft a tight end in a dynasty league high, because typically it takes a tight end 2 to 3 years to have any kind of impact. But last year, Sam Laporta did something special.
Right.
Could Brock Bowers replicate what Sam Laporta did? I think so, as rare as it was, because Brock Bowers has already proven you could run the offense through me.
Absolutely.
And he did that on the best football team in college football for 2 years. 3 years. 2 years, they were the best. It's a wide range of outcomes with Brock Bowers. He could go as high as number 5 to the Chargers, or he could go a little bit further back to imagine if he went to the Bengals.
That's what I was about to say. The Bengals would be the perfect landing spot for him. Oh my gosh.
He's
That
going
would
to
be,
terrorize defenses.
oh my
He's going
God.
to terrorize them. And I think if you're in a dynasty league, he should not fall any further than number 7. He's got,
I just think I think the Bengals should move up to get him because that could literally think about it. The quote unquote 2 greatest quarterbacks we know. Guess one of the ultimate weapons they have in a good portion of their career, a tight end, a top tight end. I think Brock Bowers would be great with the Bengals. I just
yeah, he'd be great there. He'd be
Yeah.
great.